Hello everyone, welcome to the latest episode of The State of the World. The state of my world, the state of the whole world. Today I want to talk about a few different things, and I'm going to start with a little bit about one of my hobbies and another topic for the channel. I want to talk about fishing, and I want to have a little bit of a small rant, and I want to have some positive stuff to say as well. And I thought it might tie into this idea I had in my head, a quaint little idea from a crazy person's brain. The idea maybe fun Fridays, and maybe on Fridays, if there is a video, we get away from the news and the politics and the bullshit and everything else, and talk about maybe something positive for the weekend, and maybe there's a bit of a rant, but hopefully a bit more of a positive edge. So two things I'm going to talk about today: a little bit about fishing and a little bit about Manchester United, which is something I talked about the other day. Starting with fishing though. Okay, I'm going to start with the rant, and then we're going to build to the positives. So just a little bit about me, and I might do a video next week, just a few bullet points about me, and for anyone that is picking up on more than one video and interested in that. Many of you won't be, but I might just talk a little bit more about me in another one next week. But a little bit about me and how it fits to the fishing is I'm just someone through circumstances that has actually just moved house quite a lot and moved areas. A little bit to do with work and a little bit through personal choice, and it's prevalent because last year I moved house again, and I moved to an area not familiar with. Relatively familiar with, but there's no roots here. There's there's very few friends and family, and we don't know the locals, and who's who and all the rest of it. And particularly fishing's something I loved as a teenager, and by the time I got to my early 20s, it kind of tailed off, and the stuff, the tackle was all in my parents' garage, and then about, I don't know, maybe about 6 years ago, I'd had a stretch living abroad and moved back to the UK. And at that point, I said, look, get something I want. The parents kind of said, look, we're trying to clear out the garage, and the timing was about right. I hadn't really had room for it before, and I suddenly did. So I took all the childhood fishing gear back, and I got into it again a little bit. I'm not out. I'm not able to get out all of the time or very often, and in those last years it might only be 8 or 10 times a season, usually when the weather's better, that I get out. But I love it. If you said to me what's one of your what's your hobbies, fishing's in there. When I'm not fishing, I love watching YouTube and reading Angling Mail or Angling Times. So I really say I might not get out there as often as anyone. Any fishermen would probably say they want to be out more than they get out, even no matter how often they get out. But here's the thing. So here's the little rant. One of the things when you're moving around is you want to find out where you can go fish, and it can be really tough. And if you haven't got the network, you can't exactly just pick up the phone and go call some people. And if you don't know people in the area, that also share this hobby, and ask them and whatever. So me, I'm looking around, I'm trying to find stuff on the internet, and the little round is, there's a lot of people say, look, the future of fishing, we've got to get the kids involved, we've got to think about the next generation, we've got to, not just about getting involved, but obviously on the ecological side, and keeping things clean and stocks good and invasive species out and all that. But one of the things I've found is it's really tough to find where to go fishing, and you can go on Google Maps and you can find bodies of water and you can find rivers, and that's the age of the internet. But try and find out the fishing rights and the club owners and who to contact. And the town I live in actually has or I've moved to, actually has a fishing club. They have absolutely no online presence, and the same is true of the town I lived in previous to here. And they had very little bodies of water, but it really did rely on local knowledge. And I actually I'm really fortunate to have a tackle shop in town here. It's a bit derelict, quite honestly, but I went in there and did exactly what everyone would say to go talk to the people in the tackle shop. And I went in there, and I don't want to run the guy down or anything, or talk too much about him, and give away anything or anything like that. But it wasn't very helpful. I was asking about the local club, and he said, "Oh yeah, there's a club," and I said, "Can't find them on the internet." "Oh yeah, no, you wouldn't find them on the internet. They don't want to. They don't want to be on the internet." And in the next hand of the conversation, "Oh, it's terrible. The club's going under, and no one's coming into the shop, and and it's we live in the age of the internet. So I don't know if anyone else is finding this, and I'm not putting this out to be mean spirited or anything. I want to put it the other way around. So look, this is an opportunity here. I'm worried about the future of fishing as much as the next person. I don't want the hobby dying out. I want to see people of all ages fishing. And so one of the things is just I just want to put this out there. I never see any pressure or conviction or sentiment towards the idea. Come on, guys, if you're part of a fishing club, get your websites up, get them updated, and not just that. Okay, every fishing club in this country is going to have someone of an age that can help with putting a basic website up and help manage it. It might be a little bit of cost there, but actually web design is it can lots of people have the software now. It's not a dedicated thing where you have to go and find a little company or a marketing company to put it up for you, and a few £100 or this. You can literally go online now and the template, find a free template. Put the contact information on there, put some names on it, but also online purchases. I mean, come on, this the club, I'm not the town club, so I had to go to join a club a bit further away, and their process, they have a website, and I'm not going to name them because they even have a policy, don't run us down on social media, so I'm not going to run them down. I'm just going to tell you how it is. But it's mail a check, and something comes back, and it's like, okay, fine, it works or whatever, but we're in the digital age, guys, and girls, but get the website up, get your membership details on there, put a PayPal or credit card link on there. It's all available. If it's not free, it's pretty cheap, and you will see people getting in touch. Okay, so one of the things is, okay, clubs, pull your socks up. I want the clubs healthy. I get this sense that there's this real old boys network in some of these groups, some of these clubs. Okay, fine, if that's how you want it to be, but don't moan about the next generation and everything else. You've got to be open. You've got to put yourselves out there a little bit. You can kick, you can manage things and kick people out. Do all the normal things, but get out there. Get your clubs out there. I really find it frustrating. So my situation is, I'm trying to. I live somewhere. I grew up river fishing, and I love river fishing. And around here, it's much more private lake, private waters, and so on. There's a few well-known stretches of water around here where the fishing rights are with a club that from what I can tell online is, they're basically like, very exclusive. They don't want to be approached. It's a tap on the shoulder. It's who you know. That's a real shame. But okay, so there's that one. But then, so I've managed to find a club. It's a bit of a drive, and it's, kind of second rant then. And one of the things is they say we've got X number of stretches on the river. All right, that's what I was looking for. And they've also got a lake where you can go fish. It's more kind of carp orientated, which is I've been last summer. I had a good few days on there as well. Brilliant. But so I'm out on these river stretches. I turn up to the first river stretch, and it's like it's basically a stream. Okay, so I go to another one a bit further downstream, and again it's a bit of a stream, and the bank access is terrible. Okay, and this is from what I can tell. Around the carp lake, when I've seen, that's where you see people fishing. You don't see them on the river here. It's a bit of an older. I'm middle-aged, and it's a bit, but many of the members are a bit older. I have no wonder you don't see them on the river. The bank access is treacherous. Okay, I went to go to another stretch of the river in this other town. Can't find it. Can the instructions on the website lead me there? No. Okay, I'm not from the town, right? So. Rant number whatever we're up to, if you're going to put your yeah, please put your maps, please put your directions on your websites, but also don't just assume that everyone's from around the corner and has lived here 30 years. Where can you park? Okay, where do you park? Where's safe? Who am I going to annoy if I park in front of this house or that house? Where is the lane? Put a proper map up with details and lines and everything else, and don't just put a line, like a coloured line, and just say that's, explain it, explain it for us thickos out there that don't know what you're going on about. And then I went to, just the other day, this is probably what really kind of kicked this off in my mind. So I was feeling a bit down on this club. I mean, everything's fine, nothing there. I just want to get on the river. And talking to someone at the Carp Lake a few weeks ago, and he said, "Oh no, this is the stretch you want to go to. Go down to this particular bit." So I did. I took the dog, put her in the car. Thought I'll go walk it. I don't walk over, bring all my stuff and not know where I'm going, and a bit of a bad run up to that point. So I got there, literally parking on the road and country lane, and it says go into this field, and you get there. There's no gate. Okay, access like a 3 or 4 foot ditch, no steps, and I'm not disabled or immobile. I'm not the most sprightly, or active or able. A bigger guy, and I just didn't. It just wasn't safe. And I just think to myself, what's even the point of advertising these stretches of river and paying the fee, which is it's a fairly low fee club. But come on, I'm just one guy in one club, and they're all sat around on the lakes all saying, well, no, don't want to go here, don't want to go. Such an opportunity. How much is it going to cost to improve? Put some paving slabs down and cut away through. And I know the health and safety police are going to jump in and it's not that easy. But you're a low cost club. You're an old boys club. So instead of charging, and I'm not going to give the exact amount away, but instead of say charging £30 a year, why not charge £40 a year? You've got a few hundred members. You get a few hundred or a few thousand, and actually put some money back into improving the swims, improving the access, making it safe. I don't see how anyone elderly could get into that field. It's the best of river stretch there, and and encourage people a bit. I wonder how many people have parked their cars up there as a member of this club and gone, well, this is just ridiculous, So, and I'm being deliberately vague because I wonder if this strikes a chord with anyone else in any other club. Now, I want to give an example of positivity. I was previously a member of Uxbridge Rovers quite a few years ago. There's a good example. Go look at the website. Very good, great pictures, great directions. Pay online, great social side. Wasn't necessarily a fan of one of the waters on offer. But I'm just going to be, just be positive, because that was nothing to do with the club. It was more other people kind of crashing in there. But, there's a good example. So I'm coming at the rant and I'm saying, okay, if you want to benchmark, make that the minimum. Go look at their website, the waters, the social side, the payment side, and, am I alone here? Probably. I don't know. I love fishing, and access and knowledge is a real problem. So I'm trying to find in my new locale, in my new, the long way away from there now, I'm trying to find where can I go river fishing. So the own town one, there is somewhere in the town there's a stretch of water. Can I get a straight answer from anyone where it is? No, it's and from what I can see from a ditch, it's probably not a lot of water anyway. I've got this other club. It is a 40-minute drive away, at least, to get there, and I feel like, okay, I've exhausted that. I've blanked there. I think I've got two other options in the kind of general region. One's a bit closer and one's a bit further away. It's probably half an hour, maybe, the further one. Slightly further one away has something of an online presence, but I think it's just a Facebook group page. And again, it feels a bit invasive. Like, to just sort of jump in there, and it sort of feels more like, hey, this is for the club members rather than for the public. Again, they don't have a website. I've managed through a forum to kind of piece together where in that town I'm supposed to park, and the shop that sells the day tickets, and all these things. And so I'm at some point next week I really want to get down there and just kind of walk around and have a look. And that's the kind of thing. I mean, just want to have a walk around. Now, I've also seen, unfortunately, there was some some negativity online, not horrible, but just sort of saying that the fishing there isn't particularly good. It's the potential's there, and maybe there was some good fishing there in the 80s, and I also saw some pollution reports, and that hasn't helped. And so it's almost probably look perfect and be a bit of a tough area. And I also saw that there's two sections. There's kind of like this public club, and then this private land, and the private club. And the private club is more kind of fly fishing orientated, and it sounds like they've got the better stretch sort of up the river. And again, can't find the fly fishing club and online. And then there's there might be a stretch a bit closer to home, and this is tied to another club who do have a website, but it's pretty basic. And again, the directions on there are just terrible. They must be doing it on purpose. You must not want people to go and have a look around, honestly. But I'm going to try and find that stretch of river. I found one photo online, and it didn't look particularly wide or deep or anything, but it might just be kind of more of a ditch stream. I don't know. But please, someone join me online, okay? I'm not trying to be horrible. I'm not trying to point fingers at specific clubs or whatever, or situations. Get your websites online, look at your pricing policies, okay? I know a lot of clubs think you have to rely on volunteers, and that's true. You do. Look, I don't want to be a hypocrite. Where in the past I've been working, I've literally had no time to volunteer to do so, but I've barely had the time to go fishing as well. I might go 8, 10, 12 times a year, and some of those are just like maybe an hour or two sessions. These clubs some of them have traditionally survived very, very well on or had to rely on volunteers of members. And for me, I'd say give them free memberships or whatever, because if they're prepared to put the time in and the effort in, then fine, I've no problem with that. That's not for here anyway. But the other thing is, I've just realised what screen I'm on. I've been chatting away about fishing and on Coin Paprika, but so the other thing is, okay, so make it easy, so people can find it, but also think about slightly less mobile people. I'm not saying wheelchair access ramps, literally if you've got to hop the fence and there's barbed wire, or you've got to make your way through the jungle to get to, so that's not really access. You're not really selling it, right? You're not really it can be dangerous for the kids and for someone a bit older. So you might know where you're going and where's good and where's not, but Joe Public here would really like to find more resources online. And here's what I've been thinking, right? So I'm going to just give away a free business idea, okay? Someone please go do this. There should be an app on a website where you can just go, and you've literally got a map and bodies of water, and it just tells you, here's the club, or if it's private, or here's where you go. And then if sell the day tickets, okay? So I go on the map, I zero in, I look at the area, it tells me where to park, it tells me how much it is, I can buy my day ticket through the app. Might want some check to the rod licensing people, or whatever. Go do it. Someone go build that, okay? Let the money go back to the clubs. If someone actually goes and does that, any club that's tied into it has the potential to run some money up, generate some money for all the things I've been talking about, because it's just so hard to find day tickets, and you might just want to try a body of water out for a day, and this kind of rant out, but a lot of the day fishing ticket lakes, they cater traditionally more for the carp angler. I like a bit of flowing water. I like a river session, and it's really, you've got to know the shop or the person, and you don't know where to park, and I wouldn't mind getting out there a bit more. I want to, see the country a bit more and take the rods with me, and it's just so hard. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. I struggle in life sometimes. Social things don't always come the same to me as they do to other people. It seems so simple, but for me, it just seems like a struggle. I just want to go fishing. I just want to put my credit card on, on an app or on a website, and go and try it and show me some pictures and tell me where to park, and just make sure, when I get there, it's relatively safe and relatively easy to get to. It's just such a shame. If I'm struggling, I just feel other people must be somewhere. Fishing's great. Fishing's great for kids, and I'd love to see the kids into it more. It's what a set of skills that you can develop. It's a craft, and it takes dedication and attention to detail, and time, and you can get passionate about it and get them outdoors and teach them about nature and handling fish and the wildlife and the countryside. And not even necessarily country. I mean, in the canals or whatever. But I feel like we're all, the wider fishing community. If I can, I'm not trying to talk on your behalf. I'm just one voice from in that community. I feel like we're missing a trick. I think we've handed this idea of responsibility over to the trust, the Angling Trust, and the Environment Agency, and I don't think the Environment Agency necessarily have a shared vision with me, at least. And I just think we could all do a little bit more. I'm happy to pay a little bit more on my subscription fees, or on my day ticket. I think fishing's exceptionally reasonably well priced. For just to see a little bit more going on, and what I worry about is I see places in the river getting overrun with mud and weed, and it needs management, and it needs people that care, and I care. I'm not local to this area, so it's not this. It's probably different to if you're looking at the river or the lake you grew up on, and you see it kind of going into disrepair. I mean, the means are there. There's companies out there that can do all the bank management and stuff. I know it takes money, but I don't even see the motivation or the willingness to do that, and that makes me sad, because I think we're just gonna see more and more exclusive clubs out of reach from Joe Public, less and less availability to good quality waters for average fishing people and the next generation, and more just private lakes and carp fishing, and the joy for me of chasing after roach and perch and just that was my child. That's what I want to do. And I'm not knocking anyone who wants to go carp fishing or any other kind of fishing, but there's so many. This wonderful about our sport is or our hobby is, it's just so many different things to like about it, and I think we just go, it just worries me that there's enough people out there that just think, okay, well, we've got enough carp lakes, and we've got enough big lakes, and we've got enough private clubs, and the kind of local club is going away, because I'm going to go look out these new waters. They're both club owned or managed. If I can get in one of those clubs, I'm going to not be a hypocrite about it. If it looks suitable to me, I'm going to kind of take the resolution to try and reach out more to these people, and just put some ideas out there. If it falls on deaf ears, or becomes, hey, go do it, cross that bridge when we get there. But anyone out there, share my thoughts on this. I don't know. I'd just like to see it easier to do these things, and to find where to go, and to engage. Okay, quick pause. I'm going to come back to fishing. So obviously, what a absolute idiot. I've started recording. I wanted to say, Bitcoin price. Talked about it before. It's up to, it looks like we're on the way to 10,000. I said on the video the other day, if it hits $10,000, it's back in the mainstream. I'm sure of it. So I was only meant to flip on that for a few seconds before going on the fishing, but that's why you've been looking at it this whole time. So the other thing about the fishing, rant over. One of the other things I wanted to talk about was, I was quite excited by this actually earlier in the year. And there was an environment agency consultation over the river fishing season. I thought this was brilliant, so I've put a negative out, I'm going to put a positive out there. For great, finally, okay. So you grow up with these things, and you don't necessarily question them. Always seemed quite natural to me, the idea of the close season, and I just, I'm talking about when I was growing up, and I just figured, okay, well, that's when the fish spawn then. Okay, so that's why we do it, and that makes sense. And then like I said, had a break from fishing, grew up, lived abroad, and the country I was living in, can't remember if I said it earlier, so I won't say it now in case I did or didn't, but they don't have a closed season. So I wasn't fishing while I was over there, but I talked to people about fishing. Like I said, it's one of those things I like, and they kind of laugh. This is, you don't need a closed season, and I was like, really? And it's true. I looked it up, and there was no closed season. I asked someone else who wasn't a fisherman, and he kind of had this look on his face to say, yeah, well, we know you do, but you don't need all that. Anyway, so it was interesting. Came home, and then I got fishing again. I found out, okay, so the rule was that you're fine on the still waters, you're fine on these private lakes, and you're fine on the canals. And I was like, okay, well, that's great. What about the rivers? Oh no, the rivers are still, there's still the closed season. So it started to irk me a little bit, because I mentioned I'm a bit of a fair weather fisherman, and when the skies turn grey and the snow's falling, or I'll count me out on those days. But by the time the spring rolls around, I always got this bug to get out fishing, kind of in April and May, and and again, I want to find somewhere I can go on the river and some flowing water, and ideally, obviously, and and it's not been possible. So I actually just thought it was just the fact that the Environment Agency, they've obviously been doing the research. Obviously, other people have gone to them and said, hey, look, if you don't have a closed season on the canals and the lakes, what's the point on the rivers? So I think they handled this perfectly. They did a consultation. They reached out, all went out in the Angling Mail and the Angling Times, but they put the website up. And they put some options up, and so the feed, I don't know if some of you may have done it, some of you may not, and they did it in a good way, because they had kind of pick your answer from the drop down selections, but they also had like free text, give us your opinions, give us your views. So it was brilliant. So basically, what I went in and said was, look, I think open it up. I think the evidence is there. They actually say it in the on the website here. I'm just going to throw that link up there. I think they're saying that some fish are actually it was generally accepted. People didn't really know 100 and whatever years ago about fish spawning. No one really looked into it too much, and they put the closed season in. So now they know more about it, and some of the fish actually sort of spawn February, March, and that's would be in season. Some are spawning in more like August. So they kind of figured, okay, well, the window kind of covers some, it's in the middle somewhere, and and then but it's obviously the fish that are spawning in February and August, is obviously not having any effect on them, and they're still swimming around. So they gave the option, keep the closed season as it is, move it. I think it was more like June, July was more covered. Or remove it altogether. So this is my opinion. So to go back, terrible storytelling. So when I was in this other country, one of the comments someone said was, well, no, you have the closed season of it, because and I think this is a bit of an old wives' tale, but they put the closed season in over in the UK, because that was the the best kind of fishing time, and all the private landowners carried on fishing, and all the all the peasants couldn't go, and they got all the good fish. Now, I don't that's just I think it was said with a smile on the face, but again, another opinion. So so you got the still waters, you got the private waters, and you got the canals, and you can fish all through the year there, but why not the rivers? So I put my feedback in. I said, look, abolish the closed season, but in the open text, here's my view. I said, look, just take it off, you guys, open it up, but like the private people and the lake people, and if the clubs want to have a closed season, just let the clubs declare when their season is. And that just makes more sense to me. If the clubs, and you can get together with the clubs, and they have an AGM and go along or whatever. And if you want to retain the close season, retain the close season. If you want to move the close season, move the close season. The clubs should know the waters better than the EA to say have this one size fits all close season for everyone. So if you've got a water and your fish are spawning at a different time of year, or it's maybe pike heavy or carp heavy or tench heavy or whatever, let them do it. I mean, maybe you want a close season for this period on this lake and this other window on this river over here. So I think just put it in the club's hands. That's what I think. So let the clubs make the rules on the season, the closed season, open season. That's where it should really lie. And so that's the feedback I put in. They asked the other question on should we consider a different set of rules for pike fishing. Now, my answer to that is, I've never seen with my own eyes pike in distress when caught in the summer, but I can imagine it happens. So again, it depends on the water. I would think, how oxygenated is it? Is it still water, moving water? How big is the pike? So I think again, it just ties in, handed to the club. So I'm okay with the idea that the club say, okay, for this water or for this species of fish, here's the rules. I do think sometimes clubs can be a bit heavy-handed with all of the rules they have, and some are barbed and some are non-barbed, and here's the bait and there's not the bait. But I think that's just the reality. That the club should make the rules. The members should get together and have their say on it. And let's just move away from the close season. And I think that's another thing that will bring in some of the youngsters. I think closing off the rivers in certain months of the year and certain weekends, particularly during the football close season. I mean, got the Grand Prix on, but it's what a great time to get down the river, and the weather can be. It's not been this year, but when the weather can be great. So that's my feelings on that. Again, if you've sat through all of this and let me know what you think in the comments, or on, go find me on Twitter. And the final thing about fishing I want to say, again, positive, not a negative, is when I'm not fishing and in the winter and whenever it is, I love watching fishing on YouTube. So I just want to call out a few channels. Totally awesome. Probably my go-to video range. I think they do a great job, and obviously I watch what's called Totally Outdoors. And Carl and Alex, obviously, Ginger Fisherman, Pike Fisherman, I think it's called, and I love the bass fishing guys from America. Multiple channels there. So tell me who you like to watch, because if you've got a suggestion for a channel, one of the ones I haven't thrown out there, and I think obviously I'm following a few more than that, but if there's someone out there, let me know. I've watched some of the sort of startup channels from the last year or two on some of the English-based channels as well. But yeah, great job. Really enjoy it, and if I'm missing someone, let me know who they are, because I'll be happy to go give them the watch. And there endeth the fishing conversation. So I wanted to also talk about Manchester United again today. I'm not going to do 40 minutes like I did the other day. So there was this week in the news, we've got a hashtag trending around the world, and it wasn't hashtag pull your socks up Ed, which I threw out there the other day. Of course, I don't think I've, not alone, I'm probably not the only person that's never had a hashtag trending around the world, but there you go. I quite like that one. No, it was Glaciers Out. So this one, you know what, I'm just going to put it out there. Okay, I'm open to my mind being changed on this. I'm on the fence on some of this stuff. I don't think the Glaciers have been brilliant for Manchester United. I really don't. But at the same time, they're American. I think we got what we knew we were going to get with them. I took the opinion the other day. I saw it come up again, and I think the managers have been the fall guys for a lot of the issues. I cast my mind back, and I seem to remember when Sir Alex was still at the club, his view on it was if he ever said here's my transfer targets, he didn't get any pushback. So hit from, and I trust Sir Alex. Okay, so he was saying, despite all the debts, he got what he wanted. Okay, and then I can put the transfer business on Sir Alex. Then, okay, I've got my own views on that. So Alex leaves the club, and I went out and the other night and I said, okay, well, how much have they spent since then? And they have put so the number I found online was 686 million in transfers since Sir Alex retired. And I don't know if that includes Daniel James or not. So we're in the ballpark of 700 million spent, and so then I find this. Let me go. I'll come back to that. So then I find this, and this was give credit Mike at Barney JBJ Mycroft. I found this online, and then I see this, and I don't know if this is all true or part true or what, but so making my own mind. And I see some of these numbers on here, and the interest costs, and how much is coming from shares, and the fact that the Glaziers are kind of drawing consultation fees and things like that, and it's not good. I can't say it is, but I just think the real problem has been, I think obviously in those early years, those Sir Alex years, yes, that they got into debt, and I think there was some budgets there, and so I don't know, speculative. Maybe Sir Alex with the lawsuit before, didn't want to kind of have the Glaziers being there on him in some way by insinuating anything about transfer budgets, and just wanted to steer clear of all that. I don't know. That's complete speculation, but I think we all knew in those early days. But I feel 686 million on transfers. I think the club's in a mess. I do think the club's in a mess. But I would lay this at Woodward Store. I would. And I'm not letting the Glaziers off. I'm not skirting that. But I think you have to say, look, I don't know how involved the Glaziers are. I didn't even know until today they were drawing consultation fees. I think that's pretty ridiculous, actually. But I think my senses would be they took a step back. They didn't like the reaction. They didn't like the protests. They didn't like the security. And I think they said, look, okay, you're the biggest club in the world, most successful club in the world. We're going to let Man United be Man United. We just want to see the money. Okay. And I think that's a pretty straightforward, black and white approach to take. I don't know if they did that or not. That's just my perception, okay? And I think they let David Gill initially and Ed Woodward run the club. And, and then you look at the 686 million spent. The Glaziers didn't spend that. Ed Woodward spent that, okay? And I think the managers have taken the hit on that. Moyes, I quoted the other day, Moyes came in and said he was disbelief. The recruitment team just didn't have anything ready for him. They thought, where Sir Alex left, it was they put it on Moyes and said, yeah, well, who's your targets? And then he, obviously we all know what happened in his transfer window. And then Louis comes in, and he's recently done an interview, and he gave Youth a bit of a chance there. But he said, look, he was surprised that apparently some of these big players didn't want to come, to the richest club in the world, some of his targets. And unfortunately, he got Di Maria, and that didn't work out, and that seems to be a personality issue there. And then Jose, and you know what you're getting with Jose, and he's going to need money, wants money. Gave him some money in the first year. Pogba comes in. Zlatan comes in, on a free but big wages, and we just didn't follow that up last year. I think Woodward saw the second place and said, well, we don't need to go in that much this year, and that was a big mistake. You needed the centre half, you needed probably reinforcements. I don't know whose idea Fred was, honestly. I don't care now at this point, but I don't think it was a great signing or great value. He might prove me wrong this year, but I don't think so. So I lay this more at Woodward's door, but we're not. Are we going to get new owners? Are we going to get a new CEO? Are we going to get a director of football? It just seems like too much. So I've no problem with the Glaziers out. I just wanted to say about it. I maybe kind of half thought if I just spoke it out loud, I might find an opinion more on one or the other. I just don't like the way anything's going at the moment in Man United, above, above the manager level, and we need the director of football. That's what we need, and I wonder if the decision is in part. Well, the link to ex players that suggests we're on the wrong path. Everyone's all the Indonos and the pundits say the same, and I say the same. You need someone who director of football experience, that knows the market, knows the job, and I just wonder if. Well, I might be giving the man too much credit here, but I kind of wondered the other day if maybe they've got someone in mind, someone lined up, and just the timing of the transfer window. Maybe they've said, look, you've got to get the window out the way because I need a runway. I need months to work out the youth team and the recruitment team and my staff, and really kind of have a year before you hit the transfer window. If that's the case and they've got someone pretty good in mind and lined up, that would be great. Okay, I just want to hear that that's the case, and they might not leak that, but I don't think that's the case. I think they're looking at ex-players. I think they've kind of wound back on the idea of a director of football, and are now maybe looking at someone more on the technical side. And I think that's a role that should be filled if it's not filled, and it should be part of the decision process. But I think they need that director of football. The other thing that comes off the back of this is another rumour, and I flipped over the tweet. So Simon Bryson here just touched on Twitter. The rumour flying around is that there's only 100 million in the transfer fund for this summer, and that any spending above that requires sales, and obviously Lukaku's on the way out. And I think that's really disappointing if that's true, because yes, they have spent nearly 700 million, but this is where we are, and what's required is some money and some good spending decisions and some good transfers. And I think we're trying to do things on the cheap a little bit. So I'd be disappointed if we have only got 100 million to spend, if that's true. But the flip side is, I wonder if they've leaked this on purpose because of the Manchester United tax. And I wonder if they're out in the market trying to pull a few different deals off, and the prices just, we know Man United prices get inflated, and I wonder if we've got a transfer to come maybe in the next week, and if they put the idea out that there is only 100 million, it might help with the negotiation on one or two other deals, and away from the inflation and the Man United tax. So I don't know about this. If it's true, I'm gutted. I'm disappointed, because we're not going to get done what we need to get done. If they put it out there to be a bit clever, then okay, fine. I guess only time will tell. We've got to get to the end of the transfer window. But it's been another week without a transfer. And I said on my video the other day, I think we need 2 central defenders, a right back, 2 midfielders, and a right winger. And that's before we've settled up with Lukaku, Pogba, and David De Gea. We're never going to do that kind of business, and we're certainly not going to do it before pre-season's over in a week and a half. And it's really starting to worry me. I don't know why the Wan-Bissaka deal is taking so long to agree the terms. I know the lad's away, but it seems like they haven't even agreed a fee yet. The price is the price. If you're not going to go up to the 50 million for, or whatever it is, for Wan-Bissaka, I think people were talking about Meunier about 25 million. So I don't know, why we're dragging our heels on the right back one. It was looking good for Maguire at the start of the week and the middle of the week, and now the rumor is, or the Indonos are saying he wants City, he wants Pep. It's gutting to say, but you can understand it if you're in his shoes, and you're looking at the champions, and you're looking at Pep Guardiola and the way the City do business, and then you look to the other side, you look at United and the seeming dressing room problems, and he's probably got a better idea than some of us, because he's in the England squad, and they're all all palling around, and he'll know the in the gossip stuff. And then I think there is still a question mark over Solskjaer. If you're not a United fan, you might not have the same enthusiasm or benefit of the doubt with him than if you were. And and if we miss out on Maguire, we miss out on De Ligt, and we miss out on Koulibaly, that's a disaster, because one of those transfers should have been locked in, and they seem to have been with Koulibaly going into the window. They shifted to De Ligt, and then that didn't look like it's come off, and they shifted to Maguire, and now it looks like Maguire's pulled the rug, or is about to pull the rug, and I will be really angry if we don't get at least one of those three. I think we need two centre halves now. And those are the three. Those are the three that I think that we should be looking at. And I'd like two of those three. And I know we're not going to do it. If we've got 100 million, we're not going to do it. What's going on with Koulibaly? Let's get Koulibaly. If Maguire's actually said I'm not interested, and De Ligt's looking at PSG, we've got to get on Koulibaly. And I still think we need a second one. So that's where I figured, because it's gone quiet. But I think that was where they were going to shift over to Vertonghen. No, not Vertonghen. Sorry, Alderweireld, and sweep him up. Oh my God, I can't remember which one it is now. The Tottenham centre half, and he was 25 million, right? And I think that's from August. So I think that that may still happen. So we need one from the three, right? We need someone in there. Now, obviously, Lindelof, is still had a good season, but I wonder a little bit, did he look good in a bad team? So I still want him there, and I want him fighting for the place, and I think we need options back there. I don't know what's going on with Bruno Fernandes. I can't understand how he was someone that the fan channels were talking about back in kind of March and April, and as there's a line there they've heard from people at the club that was a target, and it's not done. I don't know how we haven't got that one done. It's disappointing, and I do worry that some other team's going to swoop. And he I didn't know too much about him, but he looks like he fits the profile. And we are so short in midfield. We are so short in midfield. Fellaini left, Herrera's gone, and we've brought no one in. And we need some options in there. And I think we need two. And if Pogba goes, we need three. That we got beat in midfield so much last year. But when there was a window when Pogba, Matic, and Herrera were firing on all cylinders, and the team looked great. And as soon as that wasn't available, the team fell apart. So we need options in midfield. We really do. So we need the Fernandes deal doing. We're not going to get the 8 or 9 transfers we need. We've got to get players out the club. We've got rid of Darmian. We've got to get rid of Rojo. I'd like to see the Ashley Young moving on. We've re-signed Mata. That tells me we're not going in for a right winger. And if it ties to David De Gea staying, okay, fine. If it ties to Jadon Sancho's, kind of given us the nod and said, look, I'll come next year, maybe it's worth it. But I think it makes top 4 harder. Mata likes to cut in. He's not as mobile. He's a gentleman. But I'm not sure why we did that. I can only think that it's because we just know we're not going to get the business done elsewhere, and it's one less place to recruit. And obviously, he was up for a free, and maybe if they move him on next year, they get a small fee for it. And if Juan Mata's on board, then maybe they've kind of come to an agreement there. I don't know, but I wanted to see I wanted an exciting right winger. And so that's a disappointing one going into the season already. So Ed, hashtag pull your socks up. Got to get Wan-Bissaka over the line now. Get it done today. Get it done before the before the weekend's over. Someone tell me what's going on with the centre half position, and get Fernandes done, because you need another midfielder, and you've got to get out there and get someone signed up. One thought, someone speculated, is wondering if some of these players are holding off because they've booked their holidays, and Ollie's wanting pre-season from the 1st of July, and everyone kind of in and fit and ready. Well, you know what? I think that should have, it's Ollie's decision. He's the manager, I guess. But, I can't believe there isn't a little bit of room there for someone coming in who's got family commitments and all. It'd be better to get the deal done and give the guy the extra week holiday than make that a condition. I think you can make an accommodation there, and they can meet up on the tour, and as long as they come in relatively fit, then get the deal done. Don't use that as a reason not to sign someone, please. So yeah, so my general mood is on Man United is low, and it's getting dimmer again. I want to be positive. I want to celebrate some signings. I can't believe it's the 21st of June and we've only signed Daniel James. And I hope he's a good prospect, but and it kind of works out. But I'm really we need to see some players going. We need to start seeing some players coming in. And on the holiday situation I just mentioned, I wonder if I'd be surprised if some of the players looking to go aren't trying to push. They should be pushing now, because we're going into pre-season earlier than most teams, and you get another week or two off and with your family or on the beach or whatever. So some of these players that have maybe got one eye on the door, they need to help their agents and United get their deals done too. Give themselves, that's got to be another incentive, right? Get yourself another week or two off. I'm not going to flip to it. I did also saw an article on apparently Alexis Sanchez is having a great Copa America, and there was a comment in the article about the positivity in the squad over there, and he quoted that as a reason for a return to form. And he is a try. I don't think you can't say anything other than a flop so far, but he is a trier. He does run around, and he has that kind of, you feel like he's got that spirit. And again, I just wonder about the dressing room poison. I have no other word for it. There's something going on in that dressing room, and he's referenced it there. Maybe it is, we all speculate and we don't know, but one of the main things is thought to be it's because of his wages, and there's some resentment there. Maybe it's really got to the point where there's some petulance towards him in the dressing room, and that's rubbing off on his game, and that's something Ollie's got to work on. You got to cut that stuff out. You're a manager. Any manager would need to address that in any walk of life. So that's disappointing, but I think we are where we are with him. I think he's he's going to have to move on. He'll probably go somewhere and look like as they say in America, look like $1 million. He'll look like a world-class player again, but if you're not going to do it in a United shirt for whatever reason, we've got to move him on. Whatever is causing the dressing room unrest, that has to be sorted out. And if that's players going out, then that's what needs to happen. Ollie's come in. Some of the things he's been saying, I think he wants to go back to more Sir Alex mentality. Down the line, give 100% for the club. Be professional, Jesse Lingard. Be professional. Comport yourself properly in all ways, walks of life. Come in your suit, look the best, speak professionally, do your charity, and then make your money, win some trophies, and enjoy the success. There's something going on in our club that is just rubbing off, and that's it. Ollie's level, okay. Ed has to back him as well. If it's player unrest or whatever it is, you've got to get that poison out the dressing room. You've got to get everyone on the same page. And if you're not going to toe the line, if you're not going to fit with the system, if you're not going to run like everyone else and put the work in, then you need to go. And that's what needed to happen this summer, and I don't see it happening. So my expectations for next season are dropping lower and lower. I really thought we were going to have the 200 million to go in, do the rebuild, get some better players in, get some players that want to be there, because it's clear that some of these players don't want to be there. Get some players that if they're not playing and they're going to come off the bench, they're going to want to compete. They're not going to sulk. Okay, we don't want the sulking in coming off the bench. We don't want the sulking in the warm-ups and all of those kinds of things. I want to see fit, eager, motivated players that are angry for not being picked, but they want to take it out on the opposition, and they want to prove to the manager they want the place in the team, and all of those changes and all the things I've talked about. I wanted to see them happen this summer, and I'm not seeing them. And at the moment, if I did my predictions for the league based on where we are today, United are going to be struggling to finish sixth, because I think Everton and Wolves and Leicester, they're going to be on our heels. And who knows when the Newcastle thing goes through, and is that going to inflate prices? Are they going to get us a ton of decent players in? Are they going to outperform United in the transfer market? And I worry, because I'm looking down rather than up. So hashtag Ed, pull your socks up, get on with it, man. Ollie, if he's not giving you what you need, you might need to come out and say something. I'm sorry, you might need to. So that's it for today. No videos over the weekend from me. Not this time. If you've got this far, wow, thank you very much. Actually, I think I've got 1 subscriber now. So, and I don't know who you are because I don't know how to find it out. But whoever you are, thank you very much. If you've got this far, please, hit me up, hit the like button, leave me a comment, hit the subscribe button. Come find me on Twitter. It's a young channel, and I'll do a video next week about a little bit about me. Nothing too specific, nothing too long, nothing too boring, and the channel aims, just 1 or 2 of those, and they're not very lofty aims really, but I'll go into that on a later video. So all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you soon, or you will see me soon. Take care. Goodbye.